Welcome to the NFL pregame live show at WinDailySports.com. I am David Jones at Tenacious D Jones over on X, joined by Nick at Sticks Picks on X. We are doing our last multiple game slate of the season. Only 3 more games to go. We'll be doing a showdown show, but Nick's not going to be in on that for the Super Bowl. He doesn't do showdowns. He only wins golf tournaments. So tell us, you had a huge win yesterday in PGA, man. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a sweaty one. What's funny is I had Harris English outright too, but I learned, so I did MME like I do for PGA. I had 2 6 of 6s. That is it. Out of the 150 lineups, only 2 had 6 of 6. And then Friday morning, I thought I was absolutely dead. Novak kind of made a run. Maverick McNeely made a run. He sucked yesterday, but yeah, it was wild. Every shot matters in golf. The sweats are, similar to NBA, like a random rebound at the end of the game just completely flips the whole slate for you. So it's very sweaty. Keegan Bradley making like a 30-foot eagle on 18 cost me like $12,000, but it is what it is. Gonna take a splash in the last big milli maker of the year. That is not a showdown slate because I suck at showdowns. So let's get after it. But shout out to Harris English. I got my ping hat on, his brand. So let's go. And it's Kobe anniversary today. So the death of Kobe, who was my favorite basketball player of all time, was a little too young for Jordan. Like I remember a little bit of the late 90s when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. But Kobe was the man for my childhood, and honoring his death today. So let's get some showdowns or some slate winnings for Kobe.
It's the anniversary. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, today is the day that the helicopter went down, I believe.
Dude,
99% sure.
The day that happened, it was like my 3rd time doing the Sirius XM show, and I was still like kind of nervous while doing it. And we were up in the studio in New York, and we were like 30 minutes to air. Before that happened, we're sitting in the studio getting ready to go, and it happened.
Oh,
and
no
so
shit. You guys were the live group then, right? Or right after, I guess, right after live?
Yeah, they started touching on it, whoever it was before us, for like 20, 30 minutes. And then I remember the producers were just like, scrap everything you've done that you were planning on talking about. You're talking about Kobe Bryant for 2 hours. And so me and Jason we just talked about Kobe for 2 hours. Man, that was like incredibly, incredibly sad. He was my favorite basketball player too, growing up. I mean, I love MJ, but like not before my time. I mean, I got to see MJ play, but I got to see Kobe play a lot more. So damn, didn't realize that. You know who really looks, I don't know how to say this, but like I have a lot more respect for Pau Gasol now than I had ever did.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, Powell, he just talking about their brotherhood and everything. Like he talked how much he loved Kobe was pretty cool. Yeah, I remember Powell talking a lot about that after.
Yeah, so love me some Pau Gasol, but love me some NFL DFS too. We are going to go through this little 2-game slate. Is it easy? Is it hard? Is someone going to solo the Millie? You said you're playing the Millie today. That doesn't sound like a very Sticks thing to do.
Yeah, well, just the 4-4, the big one.
Woo!
Yeah.
Love that.
I've been on a, not like shipping monster tournaments, but on a heater since the Thanksgiving slate. So ever since like small slates start, I feel like I do a really good job because you just kind of need to get different with 1 or 2 people, or just find a different way to build a quality lineup. So I'm gonna use some of those PJ winnings from yesterday and take a shot today.
So I have to ask you, I know Jason's going to ask you in our text thread, if you win the $1 million today, when you win the $1 million today, will you be joining us in New Orleans?
If I win a million, but it's going to be a dupe. I think there's not many ways to get crazy different on this slate, unless like some dude plays, Dawson Knox or Noah Gray, and that's what wins the.
I like
usually like in the 4-4-4 stuff, like guys like that don't really make a big difference in the $20 million maker. Like certainly it will, but if some asshole has like that combination, then maybe it's not a dupe. But I do think today will be a dupe lineup. So if it dupes, what is my ruling there? Is it still a win?
Yeah, well, it's not a solo one. You still, like, I've won a Millie Maker before, but I tied it with 100 people on a showdown, right? So
you've done it a couple times, haven't you?
Not Millie Makers. I've only tied one Millie Maker. Yeah. what was I about to go with that? Oh, you said if there's like someone's playing like an asshole in that 4-4-4-4. Well, there are some assholes in that tournament. I guarantee you. I know some guys that were they'll just say, just
First or last.
throw all caution to the wind. Be like, I don't know that guy. I like that guy. Why not? It's crazy.
Right.
Doesn't matter though. Let's start breaking the game down. Best of luck to you. Let's just go game by game here. Try and break this thing apart. First, we've got Washington at Philadelphia. Let's start over with the Washington Commanders side. At the end, we'll pick the games. We'll see who comes through there. But start with the Washington Commanders side. I don't know, man. Just like, how do you have any core pieces from this game? Like, I don't think we need to go position.
Yeah, I mean, Washington plays a ton of cover one, and that has been AJ Brown. I want to say I got to look at, I don't have that page pulled up for the 80 model, but I want to say against cover one, like, and, obviously one safety.
Yeah.
AJ Brown fucking destroys man coverage with no safety help over the top. I guess maybe that safety could shadow to his side. I would assume that Washington has to put all hands on deck to slow down Saquon. I think that, looking at ownership, I don't really trust any ownership source out there right now. It says AJ Brown's going to be the second highest owned wide receiver. I just can't imagine that actually being the case. So I guess the way that I'm getting different here, core pieces, Terry McLaurin and AJ Brown. I want both. I think most people will be choosing one, and that is going to be my mainstay here. Is like, give me the two wide receivers on this slate who have a constant history of having 20-plus point ceiling games. So that's where I'm going. Against Washington's going to blitz a lot. That's AJ Brown. He's the X. Cover one, a ton of that, AJ Brown, and then they run a little bit of cover three too. That should be AJ Brown, and then obviously Saquon Barkley, where everybody should be playing Saquon Barkley. Like some dude in the 4-4-4 will fade him, and then it's like, all right, if knock on wood, if Saquon comes up weak with a ankle injury or whatever that's kind of hampered him throughout his career randomly, then maybe that's just a way to get different. But that's kind of being a psychopath about it.
Yeah, I think you definitely need to go ahead and lock in Barkley here. Let me just poke and prod at you a little bit here. So AJ Brown, I agree. I like him a lot. Man coverage, great. He will be shadowed by Marshawn Lattimore. Lattimore, coming off the injury, hasn't been as good as he was at the beginning of the season. If you look at the season numbers still look great, but he was still getting beat, particularly, Mike Evans a couple weeks ago, whoever he lined up again last week. It wasn't like unstoppable, but he will be shadowed by Marshawn Lattimore.
He played a lot on Tim Patrick. And that's like a perfect matchup for Marshawn Lattimore, right? It's like Tim Patrick's not fast, so AJ Brown can run. The game was snowy, no traction last week. Like today's different, should be decent weather. Good luck stopping AJ Brown.
Yeah, you do have Jahan Dotson. No one's really worried about on running. Whatever, let's call it a 30-30 split, even though it's not. Devontae Smith going to be running the slot routes 55% of the time. He's going to see a lot of their slot corner, which is typically, I can't pronounce that dude's last name, so I'm not even going to try. Good covering the slot outside. Washington's been pretty good so far covering the wide receivers in the second half of the season. So would you pivot maybe to Devontae? What?
Sanistrell, are you talking about?
No, I was talking about what?
Outside or inside?
I'm talking about who's going to be doing the slot coverage for Noah somebody. I can't pronounce his last name. So would you consider pivoting to Devontae Smith since he's not getting Lattimore coverage? I know you just said it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters either, but
I feel like that's the route that people that play Terry McLaurin are going to take. Because it does, like, playing Terry and AJ Brown does kind of force your hand a little bit to get cheap elsewhere. So I don't hate it. Like, Devonta Smith's a superstar too. He has had multiple 20-plus outings this year. I guess you could arguably say AJ Brown has lost a step over the past couple months and maybe dealing with some sort of knee injury. So that does worry me a little bit. But again, my difference maker today is AJ Brown with Terry McLaurin.
What about this Jalen Hurts injury stuff? Do you think it's BS or not? I think I heard Jeff Mans talking about it on XM, and I think he made a good point. Or whoever he was working with at the time made a good point, saying that you don't typically come out and announce that you're going to be in a brace. Like, you just kind of show up that game day and you're in a brace. I mean, are they playing head games, or is he actually hurt? Like, I know he hasn't been launching it down the field as much as we were accustomed to seeing in seasons past. But the tush push should still be there. I mean, he's still got his core wide receivers. What do you think about the Hurts thing?
I can't imagine he's not hurt, right? Like with that hit he took when his leg turned sideways, his ankle looked like a high ankle sprain or like a torn ACL. So I know it's not a torn ACL, but like that, I don't know how you just are okay from that. He was obviously limping, got looked at and everything like that. And I think they still called a tush push later on in that game with him. So I don't know. I don't think it'd be a mind game. Do they really need to play a mind game with Washington? I know Washington is playing very, very, very good football, but if Philly plays their game, even if it's just a ground and pound type of thing, which would kind of kill playing AJ Brown in your lineups, but that's kind of the landmine, the path to failure that you got to think about. I don't know. I just think for me, the knee situation with him, it just completely takes him out of any player pool of mine. I have no interest in playing Jalen Hurts.
Do you think that either Kenny Pickett or McKee will get a single snap in this game?
No. I mean, I would bet it if it was like plus 415.
Okay.
Give me a little north of 4-1 odds. I will take a bet that they take a snap, not being like a placeholder. Other than that, no.
All right. So you said you like Terry McLaurin on the other side. Philadelphia has been excellent against the wide receiver one so far this season. The last time they met up, Terry McLaurin was the least successful wide receiver for the Washington Commanders going up against Philly. You had Zacchaeus and Diami Brown having a good game. You just chalk that up to one game matchup. No one cares. Terry McLaurin's clearly the best. They're going for a Super Bowl. Throw it to McLaurin.
I think that Kingsbury has probably watched that film many times and is going to find a way to scheme Terry McLaurin the football. Does that mean that the deep ball for Terry is going to be there? No. Philly plays a ton of zone defense, and it's like my advantages here is like, all right, Philly doesn't blitz much either, right? So they do get 4 or 5 pass rushers like home often. Like they have so much pressure on the defensive line. So it's probably going to be more like intermediate routes that, death by 1,000 paper cuts type of thing when Washington's moving the football, unless, Jaden Daniels just takes one 40, 50 yards to the house. So, like, I guess that would be advantage Zach Ertz. I know someone said, Ertz revenge. I don't hate him. I just really question his upside. Someone that cannot break a 25-yard reception is probably someone I don't want in my lineup. But again, does he have 7 for 55 and a touchdown? Then that'd be a hell of a DFS day for his price. But I'm trusting Kingsbury. They have to use Terry McLaurin. He's one of the only wide receivers on this slate that consistently gets 10-plus targets in games where, it's a back-and-forth type of game, which I'm sure all of us are anticipating this being. So I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin. But Darius Slay is playing some fantastic football, and it's good to see him, but being kind of like, I feel like no one's talking about him. Like, even on the broadcast, it's like they show him once or twice with a great pass deflection, but he is playing really, really, really good football. I know Nakua almost had 100 yards last week, and I think Darius spent like 70% of his day with him. But that's still like slowing down Puka Nakua, who has been a fucking monster all year long. That's a really good job. To keep Puka under 100 yards, I think is a success. I think if they can keep Terry under 60 yards, that'd be a great day for them too. But I just trust a lot of volume going to Terry McLaurin's way, whether that's intermediate or short routes. I'm fine with it.
Okay. If you're looking at for me, if I'm looking at like who I want to target, because I do want a Washington receiver. I mean, last time a pass catcher, I should say, running backs count in that scenario. Last time Jaden Daniels did throw 5 touchdowns against them. I think he's gonna be able to get at least 1 or 2. Right? We'll go over who we think wins the game, but going up against the slot, typically the best spot to go against the Eagles. It's not an easy spot, but if you're looking at like the best spot to go, it's typically the slot, which is going to be Zacchaeus. I don't know if you can lump Ertz into that. I don't think that you can in this scenario with the Eagles, because the Eagles have been a lead against the tight end. Last time they played, Ertz 2 targets, 1 reception. I can't remember if he got hurt or not. I don't know what's going on with that. So I don't know, like a Zacchaeus or a Diami Brown is fine with me. Feels gross to say, but I just have a lot of respect for that Eagles secondary, as you do as well. So I guess we're a little bit opposite on that one. I agree, though. AJ Brown is best wide receiver on the other side of that. Let's talk about the running backs a little bit. I don't have a tremendous amount of interest in Brian Robinson. The defensive front of the Eagles is a little too good, even though he looked very, very good last week. Austin Eckler is getting a little popular for my liking, but I still do like him if you're assuming that the Commanders are going to be playing from behind, in which Eckler would get, the check down role. Eckler also in a bit of a Saquon Barkley role in the respect, not same running back, but both vets that are trying to get to their first Super Bowl. So just something to, lock away. Doesn't mean much, but I think he's going to be involved here. He is getting a little popular for what you would consider a punt running back, but I do like him. Who scores more, Brian Robinson or Austin Eckler?
That's a good question. I'm going to go with Austin Eckler, but the ceiling I think is significantly higher for Brian Robinson, as we saw last week. If they get inside the 5, that's Brian Robinson territory, and he is good at lowering the shoulder and getting 3.5 yards of carry and get a touchdown. That's what can certainly flip this slate. But Austin Eckler, I know like what you're saying too, the ownership does seem way too high for my liking, but it's a guy like I look at him as like a secondary wide receiver. He's like almost every player prop has him like penciled in for 4 catches, 30 yards. Like that is useful. And then getting 5 to 8 carries a game, I'll take it. And he doesn't disappear in the red zone either. Like it's not all Brian Robinson. So I want Austin Eckler. I'm just not going to reinvent the wheel. I think he's my safest path. And maybe that's my issue with playing the 4-4-4, right? Like they're the 4,000 milli maker. Like there are people, like you said, that are just the lineup means a lot less to them than it does to me, right? Like if I lose that hurts a little bit, right? Like I'm not going to feel good losing that lineup. It's not like, I can play for first or last. I am okay with min cashing that tournament. And playing Austin Eckler is probably like more of a min cash type of play, and taking a stance on like a Brian Robinson, Kareem Hunt, or Pacheco today is probably how you're going to get different in a tournament. And I don't think I have the balls to make that decision in the 4,000 milli maker.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Jamison Crowder, any interest? I'm just looking at everyone that's going to get on the field for Washington right now.
No, snaps are going up a little bit though for him, but I think if anything, De'Ami Brown's probably the only other guy I'd play, but I don't really trust him running intermediate routes because I do think that the zone defense that Philly plays should kind of shell everybody in, within 5 to 12 yards, A-dot type of stuff. So I do think that Terry McLaurin's going to find a way to get open often.
Jamison Crowder, 40% snap share last week. Zacchaeus, 44-64. I can't read my own writing. I think it was
low.
Yeah, I think it was 44.
That game was kind of out of hand, though, the whole second half for the most part. Like they weren't pushing the ball on offense the whole fourth quarter because they didn't need to. So I don't know if that's Jamison Crowder being better run blocker with being a veteran. I don't know. I don't look at Zacchaeus and Jamison Crowder very often, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I feel you there. Over on the Eagles side, Barkley, we're locking him in. Kenny Gainwell has just not been involved in this offense whatsoever. Like, no matter the game script, it's just going to be Barkley, or Hurts at the goal line. I'm not playing Kenny Gainwell. Would you any interest at all if you're doing like 150 Kenny Gainwell? Better place. Yeah. No. Dotson, no.
If it was like the $20 milli maker and I was making 150 lineups, I'd put like 2% Dotson just because, like you said, speed can beat Washington's secondary, and he certainly has it. But no, a single entry or a higher dollar contest, I would not touch him.
AJ Brown will play every snap. Smith will essentially play every snap. Dotson got 62% of snaps last week. Then Johnny Wilson came in and got 13. I don't think he got a target. I mean, this offense goes through Barkley, Brown, Smith, and Goddard. Goddard played 95% of the snaps last week to Calcaterra's 35. Calcaterra will be out there blocking a little bit. He might get a target or two. I think I took a Calcaterra prop last week and it hit. Dallas Goedert is interesting. If Hurts isn't throwing the ball down the field, accurately, or it's not like he just throws it down the field all the time. It's kind of spread out a little bit here. Goddard's okay. I don't mind Goddard. I'm pretty high on a lot of tight ends, so Goddard's fine. I'm not going to say like windmill slam him though.
Yep, same. I have a hard time even for the price difference in Dalton Kincaid compared to Ertz and Dallas Goedert. I have a hard time figuring out which one's my favorite. I guess gun ahead Dallas Goedert, but for price, I'll probably go Kincaid.
Someone's asking Hurts passing ladder today. That's a Jason Mizrahi question, or
I don't know.
He's good at those. I have no comment.
Who wins?
No, I don't know.
Hey, I was 4 for 4 last week, by the way, and all those picks.
How was it?
I did take Washington in the. I said that I think fate's on their side, but I don't know if fate's on their side anymore. I do have a money line ticket right when it opened, and I have no closing line value on that number, so I feel I was like, oh fuck, I thought it'd only get shorter from there. I think that'll be a game though. I do want Jaden Daniels to win this game. I think he is composed beyond his years. He is fun to watch.
So you gonna pick a spread or money line? Just who wins?
I'll buy the point to get Washington to 7.
Right. So all right, who wins though?
Philly. If AJ Brown is healthy, I just don't understand like beat reporter, like when no one says anything about is his knee actually hurting, and AJ Brown, like I know Jalen Hurts' knee is probably hurting a little bit, but there's got to be a reason AJ Brown hasn't lit somebody up over the last month. I'm saying that day happens today. They have too much talent. I'm going with the Eagles.
Well, what about if Hurts is hurt too? So then what if you have Brown hurt, Hurts hurt? You know they're going to sell out to try and stop Barkley. I don't think they can. You made a good call about that last week with Derrick Henry. Is it not the same thing here? Washington just stopped Barkley. You've got a hurt quarterback for Philadelphia and make him beat you?
I think their offensive line is significantly better than Baltimore. Yeah, but
that is a good.
Yeah, I mean that did happen, so that was fun to watch. But give me Washington and buy the point to 7, but Philly money line if I had to choose. I'm being a coward. I got to choose a fucking side. I can't do it. Have you seen the video? The dude, the broom guy, and the guy with the Eagles thing, dude. That is the funniest. I want them to get another one of those videos. If anybody's from Philly or the East Coast, if they know what I'm talking about, if someone could put that link in the chat, it's hilarious. It's this dude just dancing to it's "Blow the Whistle." It's like the post game victory song. I don't know. I gotta send. It's fucking funny. So I want them to win just to get one more video of those.
Let me get out of this sun. It's driving me crazy. All right, who has the better offense right now, Washington or Philadelphia? I'll say Washington.
I'm going with Philly. I don't.
Who is it? Yeah.
Like, dude, come on, it's De'Ami Brown is their second best pass catcher. And someday that's got to slow down. But I'm going with Philly. So.
Okay. I mean, what kind of pushes it over the top for me is Philly defense, defensive line, offensive line, defense, secondary. Even though Washington's good, man, I don't know. I guess I'll take Philly to win. I hope they don't.
All right.
I'm with you on that. All right, next game, Buffalo Bills. Any questions about that? Throw them in the chat. I know. I guess I didn't really circle the guys I like that much, but it'd be I like.
Do you have a core play like someone that, like for me, it's AJ Brown and Terry? That is my way of getting what I think will be a little bit different this week. I'm locking them in.
Yeah, I like. I hate having to. I hate saying it, but I kind of like Zacchaeus. I didn't put him in the write-up, but as I was looking more this morning, I like Zacchaeus.
And like what you like him also because what it opens up probably for the rest of your lineup. Like I want people to understand that you're not saying Zacchaeus is a top 5 wide receiver on the slate, but for 3,900 and probably what it does to the rest of your lineup.
I wouldn't even go. I mean, I wouldn't even say that. I mean, I just like the spot for him a little. Yeah, I mean, like him or Diami, like I like. I like if you're having to choose a spot to go against the Eagles, which there's no good spots. Like, I think they're okay. I mean, but they're not core plays. Not core plays. As far as the Philadelphia side, Barkley, Brown, and I think that Smith is a good pivot from Brown.
Actually, here, Zach, I did not see your question in the chat here. John Bates, like I understand. Yeah. I know it's a no, but he does run routes in the red zone. He is 2,500. He's the cheapest tight end on the slate. Is that a viable, large field tournament strategy, playing someone like that and just getting studs elsewhere? Because I'm sure if you play John Bates, you don't have to deal with what may or may not be good Austin Eckler chalk, and you could probably play, the two, like I said about the wide receivers, right? There's 2 guys that I feel strongly about that can do 20-plus points a game, and that's going to be A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin. There's only 2 running backs on this slate that have a significant history of doing, ceiling type of games, that's obviously Saquon Barkley and James Cook. So it's like if you play John Bates, you could play Barkley and Cook and probably play those 2 stud wide receivers. Is that viable, or are you just asking for a 0?
I mean, so the way that I think about it is I'm trying to pull up like what he like his routes run and everything last week. My internet's a little bit slow, but the way that I think about it is he hasn't been all too involved at all this entire season. He's going up against a tough position in the Philadelphia, being a tight end going up against Philadelphia. That's not an easy place to be, number one. And then if you want to take a punt on a guy like that might get 1 or 2 catches, like it seems like you would want to do that with a wide receiver or one of these cheap running backs that can actually bust a long one. Not that Bates can't. Like he's not like the slowest dude ever, but
he's a good athlete.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. But I don't know, man. Like, because you're looking at it because of the activity in running routes in the red zone. And so let's say they're in the red zone, he catches a touchdown pass. So you get the 4 points for the touchdown. You get 1 point for a reception, and then you get like whatever 0.7 or 0.35, whatever site you're playing on. So you're getting like under 6 points for that play. I don't think that's good enough because he's not doing it twice. So even if one of these like scrubs gets a short distance touchdown, I don't think it's good enough today.
Fair.
Like
for
I would rather take
more for $100 more. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I feel like Dawson Knox is actually like somebody that could score 2 touchdowns because they run so much 12 formation. Like Dawson Knox and Kincaid are on the field together a lot, running routes together a lot. Just find the like if you are going to punt tight end, say fuck it, we're getting 2 stud running backs, 2.5 stud wide receivers. Dawson Knox would probably be that guy for me for just $100 more. I figured Dawson Knox would be $3K with Noah Gray, and he's not. So maybe that's the guy.
Yeah, I like Dawson Knox a lot. A lot of people don't realize that Dawson Knox has passed Dalton Kincaid on the depth chart, although their snaps were similar last week, 57 to 51%. The week before that, 61 for Dawson Knox. Dalton Kincaid had 38. So, I mean, it's still like, flip a coin almost, but Knox passed Kincaid. Outplayed him this season.
And Knox does not leave the field in the red zone. Fuck, I don't want to tinker my lineup, but I'm playing.
Outplayed him in the respect of like more than just pass catching.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Allen and the Mahomes game here. Buffalo Bills. We'll start over on the Buffalo side. See, this game is tough because you've got Josh Allen with a group of wide receivers that all their props are like 20 yards. He doesn't throw touchdowns every game. Like that's something I wouldn't looked at. It's like, okay, what's the correlation between like what if I force an Allen, Cook, or a Johnson, or like a Bills defense, trying to get some of those points from that side of the team? What's going to happen? Is Josh Allen throwing a touchdown every game? No, Josh Allen's not. I want to say in 2 of his last 3 games, he hasn't thrown a touchdown. Again, internet's super slow. I'm trying to do this from memory. So last game against Baltimore, 0 thrown touchdowns. Denver, 2 touchdowns. Game before that against New England, they didn't play. So that's irrelevant. But his pass catchers are so bad, and then what you get from Allen is the rushing upside, which I think you get again here today.
Yes.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud, like, how do I want to pair him up if I end up playing him? And then you're looking over at James Cook, 6,900. He's been amazing this season. For some reason, people just don't love playing him. Is the matchup easy against Kansas City? No. Is any matchup in any spot particularly easy in the 4 last remaining teams of the season? Not really. You have a spot here or there. But James Cook's going to touch the ball the second most out of any offensive player that's not a quarterback on the slate. I mean, would you agree with? That's got to be true. That has to be true.
I want to find a way. Yeah, James Cook's getting 15 touches today, one way or the other, and no one else you can check that box for besides Dalton Kincaid. Or I'm sorry, Dalton Kincaid. I hope.
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be. You wouldn't assume it's going to be Pacheco or Hunt. You wouldn't assume it's going to be Brian Robinson. He'd be the next closest.
Yeah.
Is James Cook a core play for you?
I can't afford him.
Yeah,
because the AJ Brown Terry thing, like that's a decision that kind of keeps me up at night. I don't know how to figure this out. If you got a way, please let me know.
Yeah, we'll talk through it. Maybe
it'd be like the only way to do it is to fade Terry McLaurin, and I don't want to do that.
Who's your QB?
Probably Mahomes. It's Mahomes or Josh Allen, but like you said, I don't want to bank on Josh Allen scoring 2 rushing touchdowns to hit 30 points. I don't think he does it. He's probably not a guy that's going to throw for 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, I think juice is on the over 2.5 passing touchdowns. He's the most likely guy to hit the 300-yard passing bonus. He's 6K. I know he's probably going to be the most popular owned quarterback on this slate. Patrick Mahomes is going to be my guy. It's Patrick Mahomes for 6K. Bills defense is banged up, wraps out too. I don't think that they can stop Patrick Mahomes in his arm. And it's a nice day. If it was 5 degrees at Arrowhead, then maybe, but it's gonna be 35, no wind. Give me Mahomes for 6K. He should be 6,800 on this slate.
Yeah. I agree with that. So all right, let's get through Buffalo and then get back to Kansas City just so everyone can kind of keep up here. So what about Ty Johnson here? Ty Johnson, who Josh Allen called the best third down back in the NFL, has been certainly involved. I mean, he's going to get targets every game. He's getting rushing opportunities. Is it easy to run on the Chiefs? No, not necessarily. Can you pass on him a little bit? I don't know. Yeah, sure. I mean, he just went up against Baltimore and Denver and had decent enough games for a cheap running back. He's on people's radars now, but let's say the Bills are trailing at Arrowhead, 10 minutes or down 10, 8 minutes to go. That's Ty Johnson time. I do kind of like Ty Johnson here.
I'm okay with it. Don't love it. I don't love it just because Ray Davis isn't dead either. They use all 3, but
I mean, didn't Davis score last week?
Yeah.
4,300, but he only got, look, if he's in the game, he's going to be touching the ball essentially with Ray Davis. 4 attempts, 29 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 4,300, 8.9 fantasy points. I don't think, but he's a guy, he can break a long one. So I shouldn't rely on what he did too much.
When there's 3 guys getting snaps in that backfield, and Kansas City's kind of the same way. When it's a 2-minute drill, it's going to be Samaje Perine.
I know.
It's I just kind of want to avoid those whole situations. So I'd pray for a touchdown. But Ty Johnson, I think, is a cheaper, maybe certainly a less high of a floor, but he's going to get you 6+ points if he can find a way to get in the end zone. And you play Ty Johnson over Austin Eckler, same type of production is very possible. So in the range of outcomes, I know people like to use that phrase. I don't hate Ty Johnson because he's not going to get you less than 5 points. He is going to get 2 catches. He can break tackles too. He's not just a little scat back. I don't hate it.
The pass catchers for the Buffalo Bills, you've got Shakir, you've got Cooper, you've got Coleman, you've got Matt Collins, you've got Samuel. So they all, none of them are going to be in the game the entire time. Shakir should get the most snaps, Coleman after him, if I'm just judging by last week, Hollins after him, Cooper and Samuel, whatever. I heard a good point. I want to say it was John Hansen, saying that he believes that Amari Cooper was brought over for this particular matchup for the Bills to help them beat Kansas City. I thought that was an interesting point that he made. He's going to have to do something at some point. I don't know what the hell's going on with Amari Cooper, but the way you want to target the Kansas City Chiefs is through the slot receiver, which would be Khalil Shakir. However, they are capable of saying, hey, that's our guy. We're not going to let him beat us. Shakir, not a high volume guy, but a guy with speed can beat you over the top, even though, it's not like some kind of lock. I think the best plays for Buffalo are going to be the tight ends, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. You've been bringing up Dawson Knox a couple times so far this show. You're going to get some slot routes out of Kincaid as well, and that's where you want to beat them. So they've been bad against the tight end all season. So give me Knox or Kincaid. It's almost like flipping a coin, but if you want to save some salary with Knox, I'm okay with that. If you have the salary play Kincaid, I'm okay with that. I'm probably forcing one of Knox, Kincaid, Cooper, Shakir in every lineup.
Yep. I think if I'm not playing Knox, I know MGM right now and Fanatics have over 1.5 catches at -115. I think most markets that I respect are moving that juice a little bit higher. So to a shorter number, I should say. But yeah, over 1.5 catches for Dawson Knox, I think, is an absolute staple.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm going to go find that immediately. Amari Cooper.
Dude, I don't know.
Nah,
if there's any game, assuming this game does shoot out, because I don't think Buffalo can slow down Kansas City, and then, Buffalo's offense is very good, and Josh Allen can certainly will him to a victory. I think this game is the Super Bowl. Like, if there's any time, it's got to be now. I just don't understand what's going on with him.
He's $4,100. Like, they didn't just bring him over to just. I mean, maybe they did just sit on his ass.
Fucking disappeared since that Rams game. I don't understand what's going on. Has he heard? Like, I don't know. Again, nothing out of local reporters for Buffalo to why. Like, you can't say it's a new acquisition. He doesn't know the offense. Like, he's been there for 3 months. So what is going on with Amari Cooper? He was a viable. He gets open. He was having an okay start to the year with fucking Deshaun Watson. So give him Josh Allen and obviously very good tight ends, good running game in James Cook. I think James Cook was second in the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Like, they had a lot of weapons to where it's not just like what you were doing with Cleveland before Nick Chubb came back. It's just stop Amari Cooper and you stop them. I don't know. I don't understand how he's not taking advantage of single coverage.
Well, Deshaun Watson is such a cuck. He's just gonna throw it to 2 guys as many times as he can. Like, he's just like, that's my guy. I'm throwing it to you, throwing it through, throw. Josh Allen, complete opposite. He's like, I'm just gonna spread it around to whoever I think is open. If you're not open, you're not getting the ball. It's hard to get open when you can't get off the bench if you're Amari Cooper. But I mean, what's it take to pay off $4,100 for Amari Cooper? Like, he's got it's just so low, man. What's the dude need? 45 yards and a touchdown? Like,
yeah, and he could do that in one catch.
Yeah, but he's not going to go out and get 8 targets. What's the most targeted he's been since he was on the Bills? Was he on the Bills?
14 for the Rams game.
Well, that's dumb. Wow.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
And then I don't know if he's ever had 4 targets after.
He hasn't. Nope. Has not.
It's like, what happened? And Jay was all over him that day against the Rams too.
Yeah, I was all over him against Detroit where he went 0 for 0. Oh, or one of those games. I don't think he played against Detroit, but
I was with you on one of them. I remember that.
Well, that sucked. I'm gonna take some shots on Cooper. Any interest in it, not just for your main lineup here, but a Matt Collins to get a long one?
No, I will never play Matt Collins. I will play Keon Coleman again before Matt Collins.
Kansas City Chiefs. Who you pairing Mahomes up with?
Kelsey, I think absolutely. So Buffalo plays a ton of blitz and a ton of zone defense. When they blitz, they play man. It's like a man coverage blitz. So that is advantage to Travis Kelsey against the zone. That is advantage to Travis Kelsey. They mix up, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. So all Travis Kelsey boosts in targets per routes ran. Hollywood Brown actually has a boost in all coverages as well. So I'll take a shot on him. Like Xavier Worthy, looking at all the wide receivers and running backs left in the NFL right now on these slates, he has the most designed plays by 4. So it's getting guys that have designed targets, very similar playing Amon-Ra St. Brown or, Jameson Williams, anything with Ben Johnson. He designs plays for his playmakers. They do that with Xavier Worthy. So it breaks my heart that I'm probably fading him. But I'm kind of covering that a little bit because I'm going to have Mahomes, but I'm going to play Hollywood Brown, I guess, after this year. I am a recovering Amari addict. I'm out. I'm not going to relapse in 2025. Maybe next year, week 1, that we'll see where he ends up. But yeah, I can't do the Amari thing. But if I had to choose Xavier Worthy's, who I would certainly, I would want to double him with Travis Kelsey and Xavier Worthy, but I'm not fading Kelsey. I think his price is too cheap for the volume. Props have him at 7 catches, 70 yards. It's the highest I've seen his yardage in quite some time. And again, it's too many guys to move the ball around. So it's all right, Hollywood Brown does run red zone routes too. He's probably has the highest percentile of catching a 40-yard catch for that offense. So I'll roll the dice on him going after the 0, hoping that no one, less people play him because of the 0 last week.
If Xavier Worthy scores, Mahomes doesn't even necessarily have to be attached to that. I mean,
very true.
Yeah,
the end around stuff.
Kelsey, obviously, Kelsey a lot, 6,000. I'm not going to 100% lock him in every lineup. I'm going to have a Chiefs pass catcher in every lineup. But yeah, Travis Kelsey's top tight end on the board. Obviously, last time Buffalo played the Chiefs, it was another tight end who scored twice. That was Noah Gray. He's $3,000. I do like Noah Gray just anyways. I mean, he's a part of the offense, 1, 2, 3 targets a game, but I don't know, man. He's a dude that can definitely score too. I mean, I like Noah Gray as a punt.
I don't hate it. I think I'd rather have Dawson Knox, but
I'd
I
agree.
don't hate it.
I'd agree. As far as the pass catchers go, Worthy's my number one. I
Over
don't
Kelsey,
know.
right? Confirmed. Worthy over Kelsey.
Oh, no. I'd
Just
take
wide
I'd take
receiver
Kelsey.
position.
I'd take Kelsey over Worthy.
Okay.
That's what I meant. I'm just looking at wide receivers here. Let me pull up my fucking sheet.
I'm fading Khalil Shakir just because I am okay leaving 6 for 60 off the table. If he gets in the red zone, he'll probably or in the end zone, he'll probably have a huge day. But he does not check that box for me as like someone that can have a ceiling game of 20 plus. I do think Hollywood Brown can do that. I know Xavier Worthy can do that. We obviously know Terry and AJ Brown could do that. Diami Brown obviously can do that recently. I worry about Khalil Shakir just not breaking anything deep, and for him to get 25 plus fantasy points or 20 plus, let's just say, because it's a 2-game slate, you don't need multiple guys with 25.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he'd have to have like 9 catches, which is very possible. If this game does shoot out like that, game script fits for Khalil Shakir.
Do you have how they've been using Hollywood Brown? Like, is he just running most of the slot routes, or are they using them like everyone else, like a Hopkins or
everywhere?
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably take him over Hopkins at this point. Hopkins with those hands, man, just throw it to the guy in the red zone. He'll probably come down with it. Justin Watson,
no,
probably not.
He seemed to be fizzled out last week. Didn't play at all. What did he run? 4 routes, 5 routes,
something like that. Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
So I think they're going all in with Hollywood Brown and obviously D Hop, even Juju like outsnapped him significantly. So
Juju got 41% of the snaps last week. What's old Juju up to? 3,200. I mean, he's a dude that can drop a few and catch one, you know?
Let's see. How many routes did he actually run though?
You got it. I mean, with all of them,
he's out there to run a route. Yeah, he did not pass block at all. So when he's out there, he's running routes.
Week 5, 7 for 8, 130 yards, no touchdowns. Has he scored a touchdown? Yeah, 2 touchdowns this season.
Was he 3,200?
Yeah.
I don't hate him. I would much rather have Juju over Matt Collins.
I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, it's the same guy. It's the same guy.
I like Juju a little bit. That's disgusting. Let's move on.
Okay. Let's talk about a couple weird guys on my list. Samaje Perine. You're a Perine lover.
I am a Perine truther. I don't understand how this guy does not have more of a role on a team outside of Kansas City. He showed his hand in Cincinnati. He was a good player. I was writing about him like back in the early Win Daily days, back when I lived like downtown, and I was always thinking that he'd be something with Washington and just didn't pan out. I'm okay with him. Like, he's going to get a design play in the 2-minute drill, so he's not going to get you 0. Can he break a screen pass for 40 yards? Absolutely.
One of the constraints I'm working with the optimizer right now is, would you allow any team that I look at salaries a lot, and it's like, okay, I can't have $4,000 worth of salary with Samaje Perine, but not have like James Cook on the team. Like, is there any world where like Perine can be like a top 3 scoring running back on the site?
No, I think Ty Johnson's more likely to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I gotta go fix this. My lineups are crazy, man. Like, they are wild. I gotta dial back a little Perine. I still got a lot of work to do, honestly, on those. I was messing with it for a couple hours today. All right, let's talk about Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. First of all, let's also throw out there, when we're talking about Perine, doesn't it feel like Mahomes has one of these playoff games every year where he just integrates a pass catching back and they drop like 30?
Yes.
Okay. Just
that's kind of what made Jared McKinnon so useful in the playoff slates a couple years ago, right? It wasn't last year necessarily. 2 years ago, right? He was absolutely killing it in the playoff slates.
There's someone else too I'm forgetting about that did it. I think Pacheco, are they going to use this guy, or like what's going on with him?
No clue.
Isn't he like absurdly cheap for the starting running back of the Kansas City Chiefs going up against Buffalo, who's the worst rush defense on the slate? Maybe not Washington is, but second worst.
Yeah, I mean 5,200 is awesome, but Kareem Hunt's getting a rocking the goal line. I don't like that. For me, I'm out on both those guys just because I can't say either of them are going to catch 3 passes. I want a running back that can catch 3 passes. So obviously Saquon can certainly do that. James Cook can certainly do that. Isaiah Pacheco can certainly do that. Ty Johnson, we're probably pushing the envelope a little bit, but can certainly do that. Samaje Perine, probably ceiling of 2 catches, but can certainly get 3 if it's a long 2-minute drill. Or they get multiple 2-minute drills, but
it might be worth considering too. Like when Pacheco was still starting, I mean, he had two usable games for fantasy, beginning of the season against Baltimore and Cincinnati, but games after that, Vegas, Chargers, Cleveland, like he was getting the touches and wasn't doing anything with them.
Very true. One guy we forgot. Do you have any interest in Curtis Samuel? Another fucking guy for Buffalo.
I thought I brought him up. We could do Can we do an all Samuel lineup? What did we do? All Browns last week. Yeah. 2 Samuels. Curtis Samuel. I don't know. I mean, look, there's no analysis there. Like, he's a punk guy. He's a punk guy. If you're looking at all the wide receivers that are going to get on the field, let's say for at least a quarter of the snaps, let's say it like that. So let's say under 50 over a quarter. So you're going to have, that's not even good enough. Guys like him, I should say, are going to be like a Jamison Crowder. I don't know why I said all Samuel. I was getting confused. Crowder, Samuel, Amari Cooper, Hollins, I guess you can lump in, and Juju, Hopkins. Sure. Like these are all guys that are going to see. Like, all right, Juju, Hopkins, Samuel, Crowder, Cooper. Like, I don't think I want to take Crowder over, half that field. Samuel over half that field.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
I hate the Bills. I hate the Chiefs. All right, let's just do like our favorite guys.
All right.
Who wins the game? The Bills or the Chiefs?
Oh, Kansas City. I think Buffalo, if there's any time, it's now. But
the time is now. Is that what we say?
Yes, it's fade Saquon. Good luck, man. Let us know how it goes.
You'll be different. Yeah, I mean, if you fade Saquon, you hope he rips his hamstring in half in the first quarter. Then Gainwell gets all the touches. That's what you hope. If you fade Barkley, shouldn't you just? Nah, that might not be fair. I was going to say just play Gainwell. If you faded Barkley, I would either play Hurts or the Eagles defense. That's a fact.
Perine's a record breaker in college. Oklahoma, right? Yeah. Come on. Feed the kid. All right, quarterback for me. I'm playing Patrick Mahomes.
Hold on, you got the Chiefs?
I do.
Yeah, that sucks. I hope they don't. I really want to go party in New Orleans with like Bill. I want to go party with Bills fans and Eagles fans and watch them fight in the street.
That will be a fucking bloodbath. I do like if there's any time for Josh to slay the dragon, I think it is this year. But I would be more confident taking them if I knew that some of their wide receivers other than Khalil Shakir were a threat to actually like defend. And I don't understand. If Amari Cooper was getting volume, I'd be more confident to take Buffalo.
I guess I'll go Chiefs, man. I don't want it. I want it to be Bills and Commanders.
You got to will it, yeah. But if Buffalo Philly is a Super Bowl in New Orleans, that city's going to burn down to the ground.
I'm going to sell like foldable tables and like brass knuckles on Bourbon Street and just see what happens. You could stack like 3 tables on top of each other and jump off like the top of a tropical isle, go right through it. It'd be amazing. Can't wait. All right. Your favorite quarterback's Allen?
Mahomes.
Oh, okay.
Price considered.
Yeah. I had Allen ranked number 1 in the article, so I guess I'll stick with it. But I think, quarterback from that game makes a lot of sense. Running back besides Barkley,
James Cook.
Yeah. All right. Give me someone else too, though. Give me like a weird one.
I'm gonna take Eckler.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Cook makes the most sense. We said he's going to get the second most touches on the entire slate. Like that makes a pretty good amount of sense to me. Eckler makes sense too. If I have to take like a weird guy, probably like Ty Johnson, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like the only way I could fit James Cook with Saquon is to not play Kelsey, and that scares the piss out of me.
Play Noah Gray. Yeah, but it's tough to fade Kelsey in that big tournament.
It's like if you play Mahomes, though, you could fade Kelsey. Just pray the touchdowns don't go his way.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I mean, Kelsey will just get there on like receptions alone.
Yeah, he will. Fuck me.
Didn't Mahomes get a little beat up last week? Didn't he turn an ankle or something? He'll play through it. He's tough, but
I think he's injury proof at this time of his career. I don't understand. Ever since that tightrope surgery, ankle injuries don't matter to him. I don't get it.
Someone saying B-Rob gets 15, James Cook gets 17 touches. I mean, that could be true. There will be fights in the streets in Philly because they will lose. Well, at least if they lose, we don't have to watch one of them eat horse shit again off the street. That'd be great for me.
That was interesting.
Yeah. That was a lot of horses in New Orleans. Wow. Might get a front row seat. Wide receiver. Give me like, I don't know, the guys you like, and I'm gonna make you pick a weird one.
AJ Brown.
Yeah. Okay. Get that. I'll go Worthy. Give me a mid-range.
Mid-range will be Hollywood, and then my weird one, I'll go back to the well. I believe in the talent. He did get the long 8-out pass last week. That was honestly, it was offensive pass interference, but they called it DPI. But Keon Coleman does get jump balls. Give me Keon Coleman.
My dumb one will be Zacchaeus, and I think Shakir or Cooper scores.
That'd be nice if Amari Cooper scored. You'll make some money.
Yeah. Been a little cold. Lately.
Oh, the weather's cold. It'll turn.
Let's see. All right, tight end. I like a lot of tight ends here. So I like one of the Buffalo tight ends, whether that be Knox or Kincaid, and I like the Kansas City tight ends, whether that be Kelsey or Gray.
Dawson Knox.
Yeah. So we're both on Knox.
Yeah, Kelsey is going to be a staple for me. I can't find a way to fade it. Maybe one lineup, I'll fade him and play Worthy and Hollywood together. Hope that they get the touchdown variance.
Fading like Ertz and Goddard doesn't feel great, though. You think it's a 2 tight end day? I would like to also point out that tight ends have been priced up a little bit. I would like to point that out.
I do play double tight end a lot just because these teams, like when you get this far in the year, these tight ends have a significant role in the passing game. They're basically wide receiver 3s. Wide receiver 2s priced like wide receiver 3s, I should say.
Let me. This is kind of what I've been thinking about this morning. So let's just say Kelsey Kelsey 6,000, Goddard 45, Ertz 43, Kincaid 36. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cheap. Then you look at some of these running backs, Hunt, Eckler, Pacheco. They're all in the 5K range. Fine. Ty Johnson's 44. Let's call that a tight end. P. Ryan 42. Let's call that a tight end. But then you go look over at the wide receivers, which typically before this season, 4 wide receivers on DraftKings was typically optimal. On FanDuel was always 3 running backs. This year you've seen more double tight end sets, or double tight ends winning, I should say. You get down to like your Hollywood Browns, your Miami Browns, your Coopers, all under 4,400. Coleman, Samuel, Dotson, Hollins, Smith-Schuster, Crowder. These dudes are cheap too. Just pointing that out there.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Any questions we need to talk about? Someone saying screw Knox, Quentin Morris, baby. Saquon gets 17 to 20 touches. He fails.
17 to 20 points, I would assume this guy. This guy is also the guy.
That's fair.
And the lock Quentin Morris. So if anybody's been drinking early, it's this guy, and I respect it.
See, I don't think if he does get 17 to 20 points, he fails. Like
no, not in a 2-game slate, right?
It's a 2-game slate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But will he maybe get like the snowflake or whatever? I don't even know. Or not get the fire emoji. Like, yeah, but like everyone in your lineup's not gonna exceed value today. Like, you just need the highest scoring guys and then a couple guys that exceed value, more than a couple if you're trying to win a milli.
Any defense matter to you at all or no?
It just depends on how I'm building the lineups. Like, it's an impossible thing to do. If I don't play Jaden Daniels, I've made a rule to play Philly. I'll tell you that. That seems to make sense to me. And then if I Kansas City at home playoffs, that's good. So I like Philly and KC.
Okay. I think I'll probably just play Washington because I think that's all I can afford.
Yeah. I mean, you're really working on that salary over there. I can tell it's driving you nuts.
It is. I hate it.
All right, cool. I guess that's the show. I guess that's it. We're gonna do we'll do the Super Bowl showdown show in a week or two, whatever. We might do it from Bourbon Street or something like that. Me and Jason
if it's
down there.
Philly and Buffalo, Bourbon Street's not going to exist because it's just going to be broken tables and
I'm not going to exist.
Broken noses. It'll be a party though. It'll be a bad day to be a beer down there.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy, man. Oh God. Well, we'll see. Only good things happen in New Orleans. Only good things happen in Philadelphia. So those are going to go hand in hand. That'll be great. Yeah, no problem. They're saying thanks. David and Lippy round 2. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. You don't know about that. My buddy Lippy was down there last time I was in New Orleans. I came in dead last in the NBA championship because I had a big night the night before, and it was terrible. I faded Joel Embiid. He was like 80% owned, and he dropped like 90 in overtime.
Dude, I love that though. Fade the 80% guy. Fuck it. First or last when you're in those live finals.
Yeah, it was. I wanted everything to be over. All right, that's it. That's the show. We'll catch you next time. Bye.